So good afternoon and welcome to our webinar, Become an Expert in Exercise Science with a Doctorate in Health and Human Performance. Today we'll go over everything you need to know about the Doctorate in Health and Human Performance program at Concordia University Chicago, and you'll learn how you can get ahead in your career with this degree. So why Health and Human Performance at Concordia? We have a short video to show you.
Somebody said, why don't you just go get your graduate degree? And I thought, well, I don't have time for that. And I thought, well, don't you? That's when I decided, I said, I've got to get my doctorate. I'm going to get my doctorate in this. Do they even have a doctorate in exercise science? Again, I've got to look at something that met my lifestyle, that I could adapt to and accommodate to my lifestyle. And the only one I could come up that I found was Concordia in Chicago. And the entirely online form was the best, the most attractive, and the most beneficial. And then the second, it was that it was so structured. If you can pretty well use a syllabus and understand a syllabus and just follow instructions and understand the technology and how to make your posts, understand the requirements of the coursework, and then do the work and do the diligent work that's required. And it's not easy, but just do the work. And if you can just do that work and do it and stick to it, it'll all pay off in the end. After many years as an engineer, I found myself just basically declining in my health and my overall fitness. And my father had gotten ill and had gotten diagnosed with cancer. And so because of, and I spent the last year of our life, his life with him through his chemotherapy. And that was very touching to me. So that's kind of led me to honor him and his legacy by also getting my PhD. So basically it inspired me to regain my health and give me a focus and a vision to honor my father as well. So essentially, I wouldn't have been able to achieve the PhD in honor of my dad if it were not entirely online. My dad had suffered, unfortunately, but it did inspire me to basically get control of my life and to do something never imagined I would ever do.
So hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping in to get some additional information about our program at Concordia University Chicago. As Naomi mentioned, my name is Dr. Kristen Snyman, and I am an assistant professor within our PhD interdisciplinary program, and I'm the program lead. So I help facilitate course redesigns, faculty engagement, faculty training. I help with dissertations, the comprehensive exam process, and really any questions students might have about the curriculum, dissertation ideas, kind of anything. I'm your point person. And I also teach in the doctoral program in terms of the scientific communication course and the neuromuscular physiology course are my primary two courses in this program. You can look a little bit more about me. So I'm very involved with the NSCA, involved with the ACSM as well, and have various degrees in exercise physiology and kinesiology. And my primary research interests are neuromuscular physiology and the perception of effort, but I also deal with athletic profiling, athletic internal and external load schemes, and kind of a whole variety of things because our program is online and we kind of invite anyone to work with us in terms of their interests related to HHP. And so I'm very flexible with the students I work with. So I've done things from mental health in athletes all the way to, teenage athlete development. So kind of a whole spectrum there. So we're going to kind of jump on in here and give you some more details about our program. So we have a PhD and an EdD in leadership, health, and human performance. So as part of our program, you're in a cohort of students, and we have a variety of different doctoral students at Concordia. And becoming part of our program, you're choosing to specialize in HHP. What does that mean? It means you take a variety of courses, but your core courses in our particular specialization are going to allow you to be prepared for these different goals, aspirations in terms of career positions, and you take these core courses with your HHP cohort. So for example, we have a variety of students who come to our program. We get physical therapists, occupational therapists, K through 12 physical activity educators, clinical exercise physiologists, strength and conditioning coach, professional sports scientists, current lecturers, part-time professors, kind of a whole variety. And I like to say that the kinesiology world is kind of like the Cheesecake Factory menu of options. You have so many different avenues you can go into, and that kind of describes our cohort of students. So we get students from a whole variety of different occupations, life experiences, and that just makes our program a little bit more rich because you don't have, I would say, not as many traditional students, meaning we don't get a lot of students moving straight through a bachelor's, master's, PhD. We get a lot of students coming back after working out in the fields, which just makes it that much more enriching for professors, but also for students. Ideally, we're going to prepare you to be scholars and researchers. And so if we want to jump, I think the next slide talks a little bit about the difference. Oh, I kind of jumped on this, didn't I, Naomi? So I'll kind of skip back to this. So before we get into a little bit more of the difference between our different specializations, you might be wondering, well, what can I do with this degree? And to be honest, a lot of our students have full-time positions. A lot of those students are looking to advance and staying in the same general career area, but advance further along. But we have also others who are looking to change directions in terms of their career, maybe change what area of HHP they're working in. So we have students pursue university professor positions, research scientists in industry or the public sector, exercise science educators, public health policy advocates, exercise physiologists that work in a clinical setting, biomechanists, sports scientists, or they might stay being an OT or a PT or an AT just with that terminal doctoral degree. So that's also a common one that we'll see as well. So determining kind of which avenue to take is another really important thing to think about if you're entering our program. One of the earlier slides says we have a big research focus, and we do. So you have a core of courses you're going to take within our program, but you also take a core of courses in our research department. So it's very statistics. I'll say it's very statistics heavy, but they're good professors. So if stats isn't your thing, don't worry. Like, we have good professors in that area. But there is a kind of decision you have to make of whether you're going to be a very research intensive, meaning a very research intensive dissertation, original research, original theory, or are you thinking more application to your current practice? And this is probably a little bit more common for those coming from the K through 12 physical education sector, picking that EdD, because again, it's more thinking administrative roles, maybe corporate wellness, maybe you're thinking administration in terms of a school district programming, public health programming, that sort of thing. Then there's not, I would say, not as much original research rigor associated with that dissertation process. And there's a little bit different questions that you might be answering if you choose the EdD versus more of the academic focused PhD. So again, it is leadership just in general, but the EdD is definitely more leadership oriented than the PhD avenue. Just a few recent dissertations we have. One nice thing is that all of our dissertations are published in ProQuest, which is a freely searchable option. If you go to PubMed or Google Scholar, you can find our dissertations. But just some we wanted to highlight here, just some really stellar students. Dr. Justin Killian, he was an assistant professor at Liberty University, and he came to us, completed his PhD, and was able to promote to an associate professor at Liberty. And his dissertation involved activity profiling in college women lacrosse players. So really interesting internal and external loading intervention observation study. Then we have Dr. Erin Choice. She was also a recent graduate, and she's currently an assistant professor at Regis University in Colorado. She was able to move into more of the tenure track assistant professor position after leaving our program and graduating with her PhD. Another really interesting one looking at physical demands of female soccer players and internal and external loading metrics. So very interested in sports science, performance specialties. And then we have another recent graduate, Dr. James Hodovan, and he is a cardiac stenographer. And so he had an extensive life experience working in a clinical setting, and he was really interested in moving up in that setting, taking on more of a research role. And just really an expert in cardiovascular imaging. And he did ECG novel measurement analysis to try to identify hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So it's a really, really interesting study. Again, he's coming in as the expert in cardiac imaging, and then we were able to formulate a question around his interest, and now he has a greater research role at his place of employment out in Oregon. So those are just three of our kind of very recent graduates, just to give you a sample of some things that might be asked in terms of dissertation questions. Like I mentioned earlier, we get individuals from a whole variety of different occupations. And so the real key is that you're interested in something related to health and human performance, and that there's a faculty who can assist you with that question.
At Concordia University, definitely a strong program to get your PhD in. Again, the flexibility is there, and it's also very straightforward or constructed in a way that gives you a good background or a good foundation before you hit into your dissertation. And then the committee members are very good. So it's a very good college, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone who's looking at a PhD, especially if they're looking at online. My name is James Hodeman. I'm now a graduate of Concordia University Chicago. I'm a cardiac sonographer by trade. I was trained in the Navy and did 20 years in the Navy, and I work at a University Hospital in Portland, Oregon at OHSU, and I continue to do cardiac ultrasounds and take care of patients that way. I love education, and I've already done a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and both of those were completely online as well. So I wanted to continue my education, and came across the Concordia University Health and Human Performance program, and it really, I liked what it had, so I applied for it. My degrees were all online, and this one as well, and they were asynchronous, which means you don't have to be online with all the other students, which when you work full-time, it's very easy to do an asynchronous program versus a synchronous. So the PhD will allow me, working at a university hospital, to become a researcher, which I already do half my time in research already. I'm not a primary investigator, and this will allow me to do that. The other thing that will allow me is our university has been talking about starting a college program for ultrasound, and I could become a dean or, put together the program as well. I love teaching, so one of my main goals is to become a teacher, and that again is where the PhD comes in. That teaching, you get to learn when you teach, and I've always liked doing that, and I think this would be a great opportunity now. The dissertation part is when they really help out. You get a good committee together, and they go through the process with you, and it really allows you to become a better researcher, and also how the program is meant to be. Before, I assisted a lot of cardiologists with research projects, and I'm always I'm a part of a team, but I've never had to lead the team. And this allows me to now put together maybe my own research project and lead a team and come across something that might be vital to a particular disease process. But then one thing about Concordia University Chicago that is very, very ideal is they have a tuition guarantee. So when you start with your program, whatever the tuition was at that time stays the same throughout the entire process. Doesn't matter how long you take, so that you can actually calculate how much money you will need. And that is, you don't have to worry about, oh, what's the tuition going to be next year? It's a guarantee. It doesn't change, so it gives a great planning on your financials later on.
So briefly to cover the curriculum, as I mentioned earlier, you're part of an interdisciplinary kind of cohort and your specialization is HHP. So you can see our specialization course core listed there. So we have a cardiovascular responses to exercise course, which is effectively advanced cardiovascular physiology with an exercise application. We have scientific communication, which is a scientific writing and communication course. We have another physiology course, neuromuscular responses to exercise. Then we have some program design, so kind of a health promotion program design course core in physical activity and health. We have an advanced exercise and sports nutrition course, health promotion and disease prevention, and then we have some cognate elective options that you get to add in to complement that core courses. And we have additional HHP courses that make up that cognate, and we also have some cross-listed courses that are master/PhD, and some of those courses might be advanced exercise physiology, advanced strength and conditioning seminar, just to name a few of those cognate options. Then we have a research and statistics core. So again, we're thinking it's interdisciplinary, but it's very research focused. So you are going to take a course in research design and a few different statistics courses. So we have quantitative-based data analysis, qualitative-based data analysis, a mixed method. So you're combining both of those types. We have an advanced topics or an advanced qualitative. And if you're not really sure what those are, quantitative would be more numerical data and qualitative would be sort of interviews or written analysis rather than numerical mathematical comparisons. So that's kind of the difference there between quantitative and a qualitative course. And then we have our foundation of this philosophy, oh my gosh, I can't speak today. Philosophy courses. Organizational change is one, philosophy of scientific knowledge, which is a student favorite. We also have ethical issues in HHP where we talk about working with human subjects, the institutional review board process, data security, and we have a policy analysis for non-K through 12 track. And that's just non-K through 12 educators because we do have students coming through an educational doctorate program, which is just different from us. So those would be our foundations ethics core that you would take as part of the program. Finally, we have our dissertation and comprehensive exam. So for all of our students, when you're done with your course core, you would sit for a comprehensive exam. Once you finished and passed your comprehensive exam, you would move into the dissertation phase. And the dissertation phase is going to involve developing an idea, a proposal, aligning yourself with a committee, a group of 3 that can help you through your dissertation process, and then actually completing your dissertation process. So developing your idea, developing your methods, proposing that. As you know, we don't have a residency requirement, so these things would take place via a Zoom meeting. So you would be meeting with your committee. You would be presenting kind of like we are here, presenting your idea using PowerPoint slides and visuals. And then you would move into the approval process, data collection, analyzing your data, and then you would defend your data again via Zoom. So again, you'd meet with your committee. On the defense, we do invite other individuals from the university. You can have family attend. So if you really want to show off your accomplishments, you can invite others to those sorts of events. So we try to make it as special as possible, despite it being online. And we do ask all of our students that, you know, you are doing a dissertation, like you're going to be collecting original data, you're going to be analyzing that data, trying to fill a gap in the literature. So in that way, it's very much like you'd find in a traditional program. To name a few of our faculty, we have some of these listed on our website, but I want to highlight just a few here who are kind of in our primary faculty core. So we have Dr. James Tofano. His primary area is applied strength and conditioning. So he does a lot of research with overspeed training, neuromuscular system, biomechanics, and you can find many publications if you search his name on PubMed. We also have myself, so I'm one of the faculty core. I have my PhD in exercise physiology, as I mentioned before. I'm very interested in the physiological mediators of perception of effort, as well as neuromuscular adaptations. I've done some work with ergogenic aids, and then that athletic profiling or athletic development. And then you can see we have another, quite a few faculty listed there that also teach within our program. We also have Dr. Jason Winchester. He also has his PhD in exercise physiology. He's also very involved in the NSCA, so he's a senior associate editor for the JSCR peer-reviewed journal. He's coming to us formally from a physical therapy program, so he was in an exercise science program and then physical therapy. So he has a lot of experience with applied biomechanics, applied strength and conditioning, special population work. So he's a really great faculty to work with. And then we have some RDs and some exercise nutrition specialists who help with our advanced sports nutrition course. And so it's just really great to see that we have a variety of experts in the field who are then coming in to teach. So you're getting people who are well known for their publications, for their research areas. I would say the ones who are not part of our primary core, they are tenure track professors at other universities, and we are lucky enough to have them come in and teach as experts in these classes. So we have a really great group of faculty, and just taking a look at their different research interests, this can show you that we have a wide variety of possible mentors for a dissertation phase, because everyone has different varieties in terms of their primary research interests, which really help us align students with different mentors for that dissertation process at the end of the program.
So I'll speak a bit, excuse me, I'll speak a bit to the program format. It's all 100% online. There's no campus visit that's required. It's anywhere, anytime education. So the program was really designed for working professionals to be able to earn their PhD or EDD. It's cohort-based schedule, and there's small class sizes. There's usually 20 or less students per class. And the format is 10 courses that are 8 weeks each. So application requirements, there's no GRE or MAT requirement for 2022 starts. There's an online application that is free. You'll need to have your master's in human services or related field, and you'll need to submit official transcripts, 2 letters of recommendation, an objective statement, a writing sample, and then a resume or CV. And there is 50% transfer credit opportunity available if you have some previous credits from a doctoral program. And then classes start August 29th and October 24th. So there's a start coming up at the end of this month. A little bit about the financial side of things. So tuition is $7.75 per credit hour. There are payment plan options that you would set up with the business office. You can also fill out the FAFSA, and we have our FAFSA code on this slide here. And then there are some scholarship opportunities. They can usually be found on sites like fastweb.com or collegesummit.com. As far as next steps, you can reach out to one of our enrollment specialists and they'll help walk you through the application, make sure everything is good to go. We have a phone number there, and we also have our website where you can find more information about the program and contact us. So you'll complete your application, register for class, and watch an orientation video. So you can start class August 29th. We'll have a link in the chat to our free application. And then does anyone have any questions that we can answer for you? Feel free to speak right up.
Hi, you mentioned 10 courses. This is and I know with the dissertation and whatnot, this is like about 60 or 61 credits for the ed. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually not 10 courses. It's
Okay.
61 to 67 credits, depending on its.
Okay.
Your PhD.
Okay, and is that still on the website? It says like 3 to 4 years. Is that pretty average for that? Sorry, go ahead. Is that still accurate? 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, we anticipate that people will take 3 to 4 years to get through the degree. I believe Kristen potentially could answer this better than I could, but I believe that the limit is 7 years to complete.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, to follow up, I would say most of our students are on a 4-year track. A traditional PhD is typically 4 years. There's a few programs out there that are 3, but that is honestly lightning fast for a PhD program, because you have to think that we're training you to be the expert in like this particular area. So obviously that does take some time. I will say we've had some students towards the end of their degree program petition to double up courses, which will expedite it slightly. But again, you're staying to that 3 to 4 year window of time. And then there is options for students who, if they have a family crisis or just some other reason why they have to step away, there is a certain time period that the university allows you to take a break and then come back and finish the program.
All right, thank you.